Hello friends, this is Growl. In this series, I start with a brand new character in World of Warcraft. No previous achievements, no gold, no anything. Fresh at max level with no connections to see how far I can go. The one catch, I recorded every single minute of the journey and I explained my thought process and decision making along the way. Whether you're just looking to improve your skills and pug your way up, or you just want to come along for the ride, I hope you guys enjoy. Early morning in Oribos. So it's gonna be reset in a couple hours. Woke up early today. I have this Miss 18 key. I feel like it might be a little bit too optimistic to throw this into Group Finder, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop this down to a 16. I think a 16 is more easily doable. We might catch some people doing a late night weekly, and maybe we can turn this Miss into something else. Guy says he's a 2600 main, gearing his alt. 2600 is pretty good. It's gonna be hard to find a tank. You know what? F it. I have faith in it. Oh, never mind. This guy's lobbed. Never mind. Sorry. Such is life. Sometimes a big bear comes along. The choices. Let's grab this Druid 1950, and who else should we get? I'm gonna take a look at this guy's profile, because it says he can play heal or DPS, but let's see what the truth really is. Is he a heal or is he a DPS? He's a DPS. Alright, that's fine with me. Alright, we attack. The Warlock in our team just said, let's do this in 30 minutes. If it's server reset in 30 minutes, that's not going to be great for us. Our time is very limited. But it happened to be a very good time to log on and do a weekly key then. We can sneak just a little bit more IO out of the day. Gotta adjust my posture a little bit. One thing if you're late night gaming and you get a little bit slouched, but if you wake up first thing in the morning and you're not sitting up straight, come on, what are you doing? Servers are going down in 30 minutes. We must attack rapidly. Okay, our shaman is in resto spec. 2 resto shamans is not a great look. Is he gonna switch or? Okay, we seem to have a mix-up. Alright, well, looks like he's not interested in DPSing. Go into Group Finder. He says, I accepted as healing when he applied for the group as heal and DPS, and I was already in the group as a healer. Okay, this guy is 2076. He's a rogue. That's just fine with me. Okay, our rogue is here. We try again. Ready, check. Full timer. Miss 16. Here we go.
5, 4, 3,
a new revised team.
1.
Pass lead over to our bear. Close our bags. And we're off. Our bear says big pull at the start. I'm gonna focus this harvester here. Drop a cloud burst down. Well, I maybe shouldn't have kicked that right away. Yeah. Fortunately, the heal got off, but that's okay. Someone else got it at least a little bit later. Kick that bolt since it's almost dead. Now, normally it's pretty important to keep dispelling the tank here. But a Baron Incarn is pretty much invulnerable, so... Okay, now, for once we have a rogue who can sap this guy. We can sneak by him. Our Warlock taking the scenic route. So this is what I would say is one of the harder parts of the dungeon, is these double casters with the inspiring. Bear doesn't have his Incarn. I'm just gonna get ready to do big healing, I think. I'm gonna press my defensive as well, because there's a guy bolting us down. Alright, we got the one soul cleaver down. Things are looking up. We got the beam. Should be easy. Now we can make our way in here and collect our mushroom. Base stats. I think it's probably usually a good idea to kill this fire guy first, just because he gives you a power that helps with that pack. But at the same time, I kind of understand why pugs might not want to kill him first, because your space is very limited. You might be afraid that you pull something extra. I'm gonna drop a healing tide here since we're falling behind just a little bit. Notice I'm kind of staying away from the group so that when those fires spawn on me, I'm not blocking the way. Take our haste power. Onto the bow breakers. Oh no, we're sneaking around. We're doing this guy first. Ooh, I like the warlock gate. Not really sure how we'll use it, but it will be pretty cool, I think. Again, Ghost Wolf is really nice for this guy because it stops me from getting slowed too much. So if I'm ever caught in a bad spot, I can just Ghost Wolf and get out of harm's way. Shaman is pretty relaxed for killing this guy. Have good single target healing, and you shouldn't have an excuse to get hit by much. Take the move speed. It looks like we're grabbing all 3 powers. I don't remember if we've done this yet. I don't think we've done this yet. I think maybe we've attempted this, but you can actually send your pet through the wall. Right here, you see. And then the pet will grab stuff. And the Warlock's actually grabbing some of this stuff. And not the mini-boss. I don't know if this is on purpose, but yeah. So he's grabbing all of it. I think he might be grabbing more stuff, but that stuff didn't come. Maybe there's a certain way you have to get it. Either way, I'm pretty confident with our squad that we'll be fine on the boss, so I'll just end up using some cooldowns here if I have to. I guess we have the bow breakers to worry about too. So a lot of times when you have like difficult back-to-back situations, I kind of plan out what I want to use. Oh yeah, we have some friends. I saw that. I kind of saw that one coming. I'm going to use a tremor since we're all kind of spread out. It's going to be hard to... It'd be hard to get stacked for the fear. I used my Warlock health stone and a potion there because I had the flurries aimed at me. A little bit unfortunate, but we'll take the crit power. I think we'll be okay without mana this dungeon. I think these guys seem like they're killing really fast, so. And we still have Spirit Link and Healing Tide if we need it. We might not have our Astral Shift though, so we gotta watch out for ourselves a little bit here. On a 16, I don't think this will kill us, so I'm not super worried, but just a good habit to get into. I'll just put a Spirit Link here, because why not? I'm not going to use it on the boss anyway. Just to help reduce some of the damage a bit. And I kind of want to use my Fey Transfusion to heal, but I'm actually going to save it for damage for the boss. Since I'm pretty confident we can get through this without it. The more burst damage you have when the boss goes vulnerable, the faster this boss goes. And once you start doing higher tyrannical keys, saving a little bit of damage can actually make a pretty big difference. Alright, here we are. I'm gonna set the boss to focus, the one I need to kick. Like, none of us are really kickers, though. Maybe all of us kick the very first one. Alright, now we're blasting away. Once this force compliance goes out and this fear, this is usually when I like to lust. Because you don't want to have bloodlust during that fear and waste some of it. So I'll use my tremor totem when that happens, right, and then right as the fear goes out, I'll press lust. But if the boss is dying quickly, you can use it faster. You don't have to wait for that part. Again, you can see we're not doing too much damage, but at least we're trying to contribute here. And a lot of that has to do a little bit with our gear. I think we've gotten the boss significantly low enough we can just focus the boss here. Looks like our Moonkin is still an Incarn. I'm guessing maybe he didn't quite want to send his... He was kind of probably waiting for my lust before he sends his cooldowns. Actually, I don't even know what Covenant he is. He may not even be Venthyr. Either way, we're blasting away. Just trying to beat this damage check before the boss gets his shield, so we're kind of DPSing a bit more than we otherwise normally would and letting the health bars drop a little bit, but that's okay. Once that boss goes down, we got plenty of time. It seems like this is a great time to have a miss key right before the reset. Lots of people trying to sneak in a weekly vault key that they either forgot or didn't have time for, or what was going on. I was pretty easily able to fill a group of pretty good players, actually. Okay, so since we couldn't interrupt that Shaper, I had to hold on and wait to be able to purge that shield. The shield that the Shaper does is actually really, really nasty. You may have seen it in a previous run, but it puts a shield on one of the mobs, and if the shield gets broken, which the shield is very small, it's easy to break, it does a bunch of damage and it roots everybody in your team. However, you can either interrupt the shield or remove it very quickly. I'm checking this one. I'm just running around since I don't do too much damage anyway. We have an empty flower, a filled leaf, and an empty leaf. So this one over here is the only one that's circled. Right away, I'll just look around for the door. Use our spirit walkers so we can cast while we're looking around as well. The big one that we have to be careful about, especially on Inspiring, is the tenders. Because the tenders give a big heal to everything in the pack. And if you can't interrupt those, it's really, really bad. This pack, for example, I'm going to hex this defender and just see what happens. There's 2 tenders in this pack. Not being able to interrupt these tenders is going to be really bad. But if I hex this defender, it doesn't, his Inspiring aura won't reach over here. Now we can just kick these tenders normally. And while this strategy is a little bit slower, it's definitely safer. You might get stuck fighting this pack for a very long time. Here, I can even tag this and try and break the hex and drag it in. Generally, the idea is if you hex or do something to the crowd control or the inspired guy, then you kind of focus down the casters and then you bring him in after. I think this is always the door here. Well, we have time to look around, I guess. So it's going to be a circled leaf. Oh, it's this one. Making very good pace. Solving the maze quickly, like while your team is dealing with all the trash, can actually be a really big time save. We're okay here. We can just fight this, I think. Our bear is unsure. But in this pack, the tender is the one that's CC'd. And we can do the same trick that we did with purging the shaper. See that shield? I can just hold my... I just hold my spells. I don't even use a spell. I just wait for that shield to go out just because of how important it is. I don't remember the way from here. I think it's just this way. I think it's just the boss after this room. And we're blazing. Probably only gonna have time to get 2 bloodlusts this run since we're going so fast. I started my phase transfusion, but I had to dodge out of that. Fortunately canceled. It looks like our druid's rooting the fox. I was gonna hex it too, but he's on top of it. All these guys seem to be playing pretty well. Okay, so this is the only one without a circle. I have a feeling this box is gonna get broken. I tried to cap totem it, but I was a little bit slow. That's alright. Unfortunately, the moon can kind of hurt his incarn there. He was in cooldowns right as the clone spawned, and he didn't know which one it was right away. It's this one. We can use our Fae here to heal through the AoE damage. Nice. Rooted it for me, that was cool. Could be this one again. Easy. Yeah, we got plenty of time. I'm being a little bit greedy, not doing too much healing on this boss. A lot less than I normally would than just kind of doing DPS, even though my DPS on this guy isn't too impressive. Just sort of a habit. And as you fight the bosses more and more, you start to get used to the boss patterns, you know. The damage that the boss does, and in between the phases, the boss doesn't really do anything. It just kind of walks around and hits the tank. You mostly just have to dodge stuff, so not a whole lot of reason to keep everyone topped. Alright, let's see what our tank decides here. So in these Staghorns again, I'm kind of holding off on my interrupt. Because they do have two different heals, so if everyone fires off their interrupt on the first one, it could be real bad. Unlucky. The shield is I would say the one that's the lesser important one. If you have to let one of them go off, the shield is fine. Okay, Bear says big pull here. Here we go. Again, when your tank is setting up a big pull, you want to be careful not to cast on them, because they're not able to tag every single mob. So as soon as you start healing the tank while they're grouping everything up, all those mobs are going to run right towards you. So it's a big pull, but unfortunately we have an inspired guy in here. I'm trying to focus this guy down so we can interrupt the caster. Just gonna send Ascendants here. But our caster got both of his spells off. Oh well. Still probably a time save. Now they were saying we only had 30 minutes until the servers come up, but usually you get a message in chat that says servers going down in 10 minutes or something. Although it would be quite unfortunate if we somehow lost this run. Time is 6:58 right now. I don't think we're finishing this in 2 minutes. Alright, the Staghorn's basically the last caster of the dungeon, unless you have to pull a pack after the boss. I can definitely feel my single target heals are quite a bit stronger now since I got my Swirling Currents conduit. I have to spend less time, you know, just throwing down Cloudburst and doing a couple Riptides can actually do quite a bit of healing. Since we're kind of running here and I'm being careful, I'm going to use my Spirit Walkers here just to get kind of in a good position. I know I'm going to have to do some dodging, and our tank doesn't have his Incarn, so might have to do some healing as well. I can't do much to help him in the way of like a slow totem or a cap totem though, because this mob is inspired. The best we gotta do is keep pumping heals. It says your instance lock expires in 2 hours. So, unless the servers go down, we should have enough time to do one more key after this at least. What do we have done so far? We have a 15 Spires and a 16 Wake. Our miss, unfortunately, is already 14, so we won't be getting too much score from this, but That's sort of why I went for a 16 instead of a 15 when I dropped this key. Oh boy, we're kind of starting to fall behind, so I'm gonna pop my ascendants here. Anytime you find yourself like using healing surge more than 2 or 3 times in a row, and then you have big buttons like ascendants or healing tide or something available, you should be like, yeah, maybe I should be pressing that. Oh, I forgot to lust. Okay, no wonder this boss is not going as fast as I wanted it to. Sorry, Mr. Moonkin. If I didn't lust during his cooldowns. Oh, he actually did, okay. Or no, maybe he's playing Pulsar. Okay, never mind, never mind. Ignore that. Worrying about our teammates' cooldowns is a little bit out of the scope of this video anyway. We're just worrying about doing our own thing. So a somewhat unlikely crew. We had an assassination rogue and an affliction warlock, but so when these get gathered up on me, I like to kind of run over here to the tank, and then I can just zoom out with my soul shape ability. That way the tank can, even though they're fixating and the tank can't get aggro on them, the tank can still like DPS them and use them to generate resources and stuff. And we did it. +2 on the miss. Alright, hopefully we get a key that's we don't have yet. We got a conduit. Ingra's mantle. A leather item and a cloth item. Unlucky. So hopefully we get a new key that we haven't done yet. And we have a DOS. Our DOS is... oh wow, it's one of our lowest dungeons. Alright, we have to try this. So here's the plan. We'll head back to Ouroboros. We'll drop our key back down to a 16. And then we'll try and shoot the DOS as well. Wow, it would be crazy if we got 4 timed 15s this week. +16 DOS. Okay, so this guy is 1994. He seems reasonably qualified and he's a tank. It's hard for me to say no to this guy. Got a hunter. Oh, this guy seems pretty qualified. 7 of 10 mythic, and he's got 17s and 18s timed. We can get him in here. I'm holding on to my 18 key just in case my team talks some smack about my item level. I can link him the 18 key. Oh boy, 2200 ret, 1900 mage. Sure, let's send it. That seemed good to me. Alright, let's get it. Uh-oh. Our mage gave us a sorry, good luck, have fun. And they were some sort of a package deal, so we lost 2 of them. Unlucky. Ooh, this guy is a 2035 mage. I think we'll get him in here. When you make the group, you make the rules. You can be as picky as you want to be. Okay, here we go. Mac Muffin, the druid. This guy seems very good. All right, looks like we're grabbing another druid. So one thing I guess I haven't talked about a lot, just a small little thing, in case you got this far in your adventures and you haven't figured it out, is the world when you're outside has 2 different phases, either war mode on or war mode off. And if you're war mode on, and your war mode off, you cannot see each other and you cannot interact with each other. And war mode off doesn't allow for PvP between factions, but you get an XP and like reputation bonus or something when you're in war mode on. So depending, like most players that are into competitive dungeons probably are just war mode off because they you know, they're just playing for dungeons. They're not trying to get in a scuffle outside of the dungeon. But you know, some people are like, this guy was war mode on, that's why he just walked inside, because he couldn't actually help me summon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I bloodlusted there for our druid. Druids have kind of like a cheesy little thing they can do where they can build up a powerful incarn for just a little bit at the start of a dungeon. And if I give them that, bloodlust, it just helps them build one up a little bit stronger. Alright, so this pull is pretty hectic. And now that our tank's in meta and stabilized, we'll use that time to do a Fate Transfusion. Yeah, you can kind of see the silliness that our Moonkin can do when he does that early powered up ramp with Bloodlust, doing 33k DPS. He did like over 1 million damage in that pull alone. And in high level keys, that's very, very common. So kind of when I saw him doing that, I kind of knew he was powering up. I kind of knew what was coming. Okay, so this guy is sneaking around. He says him first. This is a little scary. This mask is here. It looks like we're just going with this guy. If I had to imagine, I think the tank isn't quite ready for this pull. It looks like the tank wanted to go over to the other one first. So I put down a spirit link right at the beginning of the pull because it kind of looked like the tank wasn't quite ready to go in and didn't want to go into this pull, but realized that he had to because there was nothing else. And I'm just absolutely slamming the tank with heals because it looks like he overused and kind of didn't plan for having to tank a really tough pull. On top of that, this pull is really scary because there's a lot of casters in it that are just blasting the tank, and we can't interrupt those casters because of inspiring. And so this is a situation, again, I'm not trying to like pat my own back or anything, but this is a situation that, you know, you need to deplete keys to learn this. I'm telling you guys that if you're working your way up and you're trying to get better, you're 100% gonna go into this pull and have your tank instantly die, you know? And you can say to yourself, oh, this tank wasn't good, or he didn't plan out his cooldowns, or he just fell over, or whatever you know, which is partially true. But at the same time, there are things you can do as a healer to try and save him, even when things look absolutely crazy. And, you know, like the amount of damage he was tanking was crazy, but because I have experience in the dungeon and I kind of knew that was coming, I was ready to give him everything I could there. Unfortunately, our Moonkin died. We still don't have engineering battle res. Looks like his corpse wasn't even in the circle. Very unfortunate for him. I don't know if Khaz'goroth is an oceanic realm, maybe. Okay, so I can open this here. Notice exactly how I did that. It was pretty precise. It takes a little bit of practice to get that down, but there's a specific timing where that mob is going to use that rage cast, and so I use a cap totem down to protect myself. Okay, so now I'm going to use Earth Ellie, and I'm going to use Astral Shift so I don't have to worry about healing myself here, and then I'm just going to focus all my heals into my teammates. And a lot of times I'll have some sort of button, whether it's uh-oh, I don't have much for the tank here. We'll use our Spirit Walkers because we got to be dodging this. This is a pretty aggressive pull for the tank not having meta or fell dev on pull, but I think he procced his cheat death there. I like that this tank is going aggressive. I respect it. We're basically 0 on energy. I haven't realized how much energy I've spent here. I should have been healing waving a bit earlier. I'm gonna give him a sec mana. think this is the first time I've had to ask a group to wait for mana. Honestly, a little bit. I don't know if it was a failure on my part. You know, at some point I should have probably switched to be using Healing Wave. And I probably could have snuck a few drinks in between all those pulls, especially after the fire guy, because we had to wait for the Boomkin to res anyway. That's another interesting one where yoink. Yeah. So after you pull this guy, you have to line of sight behind the wall. Because if not, this guy has a mechanic where if you try and run away from him, he yoinks you. At the very beginning in beta, when this guy first came out, he was supposed to be like a really hard-hitting, like tank buster kind of guy. And people learned that, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna run away from him forever then. Because he's not very slow, not very fast. So they gave him a little yoink. We'll take the shield. So the strategy, I don't know why this guy's running towards me. He might be playing with a lot of ping. That was a little weird that he ran towards me for the quaking. So yeah, definitely when you play it this time of day, you'll get some lag problems too. So you can't be too hard on people. Like Azralan, I think is a Portuguese server. It's Brazil. I'm not 100% sure about. It's either Spanish or Portuguese. And Asgroth might be Oceanic, so yeah, we have many walks of life when you play at a time like this, so you just gotta kind of be prepared for it. I'm gonna put down a cap totem here. And I think this time I have Ascendance. And we'll use Ascendance to kind of power through this guy. Every time you see one of those rages, you have to have a big cooldown ready. And as you move up into higher levels, you'll need even more. Not only will you need a big cooldown as a healer, but you'll need your whole team using big cooldowns. So even though some scuffles happen, our team's doing pretty good damage and our tank's going pretty quick. Ah, dang it. I used my Fey Transfusion as soon as it started getting aimed towards me. Have to do a little bit of, oh no. We're okay. Uh-oh. Oh, our hunter was, my tiny little Vulpira can't actually see our hunter back there. I like taking the movement speed power in this dungeon. Especially, even though I'm always taking it. So one small thing, I haven't mentioned this yet, but the movement speed power is bugged, so it works outside of combat. I can't click the vase. Our tank is not close enough to it. It won't stun the mobs. Just keep healing them up, I guess. That's okay. These mobs can be really, really tough to move because they're all casters. If a mob is just standing there meleeing the tank and the tank can just kind of stand wherever he wants and the mobs follow him, you know, it's the tank can move the pack pretty easily. But in packs like that where there's like 3 or 4 different casters and they're all casting, even if a tank moves over to the urn there, the mobs will just stand there and keep casting. There's little things you can do like line of sighting them or whatever, silent sigil or whatever, but it takes a bit more coordination, so wouldn't necessarily expect that to be going down in a low key. I'll start the pre-res cast just in case anyone has problems with the little maze thing. Although we have a couple deaths, I think we're going at a good speed. One thing is I haven't been showing overall damage meters. It shows them at the very end of the key, but it doesn't show them during the key. I don't know if that's good or bad. Personally, I think if you're working your way up and you're a healer, you probably shouldn't be worried too much about the meters anyway. But at the same time, I knew people were going to want to see some, so I thought, well, let me put the healing one and the damage one on there, and we can look at, you know, you guys can peep at the overall at the very end of the run. So this Varuth guy can be a little bit scary to fight with anything else since he has that healing reduction aura, so we're kind of clearing out this whole part first before we take him on. Oh, alright, looks like we're grabbing some friends anyway. So since it might be dangerous, I'm kind of taking stock of what cooldowns I have. I have Ruby, which I think I'll just pop right now. I have Astral Shift, I have Ascendance, and I'll have Spirit Link soon. So since we're spamming heals, I'm just going to start using some Healing Wave. I'm going to put down a Healing Tide too, just in case. Oh, I should have Astral Shifted. I always forget because I'm used to having the Kyrian file on my shaman, which lets me remove that bleed. I think I've done this before on this character where I just stand there and I don't press the defensive. Let's take mana orbs here. We've cleared out quite a bit of the trash of the dungeon, and we mainly just have to worry about bosses, so trying to top the tank as much as I can before he pulls stuff. But notice I'm not healing him any, you know, again, I'm being patient here. It's tempting as a healer to want to, you know, pile into your tank, especially as they're setting stuff up, because you're worried that they might not have anything strong up. But when a tank's setting stuff up, you have to just, you know, hands off the keyboard and not do much healing, because very often what happens then is you get threat of the mobs start running at you, then the tank starts panicking because he needs to gather threat on all the mobs and they're not running at him, and then the tank dies because he's panicking. I'm gonna drop a Spirit Link here. Looks like our tank wants us to click this, so I'm gonna drop Spirit Link just to make sure he stays alive, then click it. He did use his Feldev there, though. Maybe he felt like he wasn't sure if we were gonna click it for him. I'm gonna put down a slow totem to help him kite if he needs. I'm starting to run out of juice a little bit. I'll send my Ascendance just for a bit more healing, but we're starting to run low on mana. Drop my Healing Tide here, or my Mana Tide rather. Bam. Alright, now that I'm realizing mana is starting to be an issue, I can stop and get a drink here. We can always catch back up later with our Soul Shape or something. I assume if a tank doesn't have much for that pull, you know, you should have Feldev and some other good defensives. Oh, so we pulled the Matriarch. Matriarch is a really scary mob because it enrages everything around it. And it looks like it went, uh-oh, this could be a dangerous situation. I don't really have much here either. I'm gonna use my Fate Transfusion to try and keep everyone topped. I'm also gonna throw out Earth Ellie. Oh, luckily our Moonkin had some cooldowns and was able to blast it. Our Hunter's doing really good damage too. That was a close one. Now we have these mana orbs too, so we shouldn't run low on mana. We shouldn't run too low on mana. I respect our tank. He's going for it. He definitely seems to be struggling a little bit with survivability, but he's going for it. We're going through a dungeon at a pretty nice pace. Seems like my Earth Ellie is having problems getting threat. Sometimes you summon an Earth Ellie to off tank and he just decides not to off tank. He just sits there. That's alright, I guess. So unfortunately our Moonkin does not have cooldowns, I think. But we will Bloodlust anyway. Like the rest of the team's doing some good damage. This boss can actually be pretty challenging to heal. So every time he does that explosion, you gotta jump up. Oh no. Our mage took a lot of damage from that fall. Luckily we have that battle res. The lightning's on us. We don't want to pass it to the Moonkin because he's got the bomb going up, so we're going to drop it into melee. Even though I guess we only have one melee. Oh no, the tank just took one of the jumper things. I'm going to hurry up and take this before he can get it. Alright, we're falling behind big time here, so now it's Ascendance time. We'll take this lightning again, since we're in Ascendance, we can heal through it. I'm gonna pass this off to the Moonkin. Drop Healing Tide as well. I'd prefer not to have this jump back to me, so it's going back to the mage. Trying to do my best to bounce this around here. Quaking is making things hard. I keep trying to run over to the Moonkin so I can get the debuff, but he's kind of like running away from me. Alright, I think we'll be okay here. The mage is like dying just from the bomb. Oh well, we made it through the boss. It was a bit spicy. Let me look at some of those deaths. What exactly even happened? Geez, so this bomb did 37,000. And then he had the lightning and it just killed him. And then this time took 12,000 damage from falling. Holy smokes. I don't remember what his health was or whatever. One thing you can do as a mage is you can slow fall. As a mage, if you struggle living when you have to jump up and you're taking that fall damage, you can slow fall yourself, and then that way you don't take the fall damage. It's definitely a damage loss, but all right, definitely hasn't been the cleanest run. We've suffered some deaths. And I still feel like we're making reasonable time here. And we have a lot of the rest of the dungeon cleaned out. Each one of these wings should only be, you know, a couple trash pulls and a boss. So as long as we make it through the bosses, I think we'll be okay, but we'll do a quick repair from our friend's repair mount on the way in. Our tank is going very quickly though, which is nice. Sounds a little silly, but you know, in runs like these where you're getting some scuffs and some bad things are happening, if you have a tank that goes fast and DPS that are doing decent damage, then Doesn't really matter too much if you have the little errors, but the little errors really cost you when everything else is going slow too. Like, I'm sure you've noticed in groups where sometimes you'll do a run and you'll have like 1 or even 2 complete wipes and everyone will die, but somehow you'll manage to still time the key easily. In other runs, it'll seem like you just have 1 wipe or 1 bad thing goes wrong and there's not, you know, it's not recoverable. And I think that has a lot to do with the little things that go on in the key sort of adding up slowly. I'm gonna focus this client and interrupt him since he's really the only caster. Now this pull should be really easy with only 3 of these guys. Drop a cap totem too to stop the spinning up cast here, to make it a little bit less dangerous. This isn't too bad though, mostly that affects melee DPS because they're trying to stand in close, but our team is 3 range so they don't care too much. So since it's quaking, I'm gonna run really far back this way, just to give myself some extra, my team some extra room in case we get to quaking, when we gotta hide. Uh-oh. Looks like my team's fully committing. I respect their decision. Blast in the lubricator. Oh nice, someone has a kick for that. Yeah, these guys can be a bit annoying because they require a lot of interrupts. Well, as much as it seems like they do nothing, you know, if you have too many of them and you just have casts going off like that, it sucks. Now we're gonna play some Frogger. Yeah, if someone has engineering, they can turn off this Frogger. It looks like our Druid does. In my opinion, I feel like you should always have engineering. There's basically 0 cost to it, so unless your character is actively using both of the other 2 professions, I think a good default is to be engineering level 1 and alchemy level 1. I haven't really talked much about professions because I have no gold and I'm broke. Holy moly, our team's struggling a little bit, but my kick's coming up soon. I'll kick that heal. I'm being a little greedy and kicking the heals instead of the lubricates, but I'm pretty confident that I can heal through the damage. I'm gonna drop a spirit link right now because I'm still kind of far behind. I don't know who's gonna be taking hits here. Use a kick on one of them. I do have Ascendance and Healing Tide, but I'm being kind of greedy here. Can cap totem to stop some of the casts too. Yeah, I probably would have recommended using a healing CD here, but I'm not gonna lie. After the way the last boss went, I'm a little worried about this next boss, so I'm trying to hold on to like everything I have for this boss. Uh-oh. I'm just gonna press Spirit Walkers so I can heal us as we run up. Now we do have Bloodlust coming up, but I don't know if this is the boss that we want to Bloodlust. I think I'm gonna hold on to it and save it for Hakar. Alright, so this boss is going to have these beams that you want to soak. And the beams make you do extra damage, but they also do damage to you. You can see our Moonkin in his cooldowns trying to snag that guy's beam over there. Generally, as a healer, I'll snag the beams, but I'll do it very close to the boss. That way, if my team wants to get them behind me, they can. You know, sort of like this, where if the hunter wasn't there, I'd be soaking it, but the hunter can take it if he wants. Been having a lot of quakings and some inopportune times. We have plenty of mana because these mana orbs, so I'm not going to feel too bad about pressing Healing Surge. I was going to go for this bomb, but it looks like our Moonkin is going for it, so... Looks like this boss isn't going as dangerous as I thought. Starting to fall behind, so we'll use Healing Tide here. We just want to make sure we got Cloudburst going, and you know, we don't forget to heal. This boss does end up doing some pretty heavy tank damage, so so far the squad's been doing the mechanics properly, so I guess Dealer is just the previous boss can just end up being pretty difficult. And yeah, now we're feeling really good here. Now granted, it is true we could Bloodlust here. We could Bloodlust here and then we'd be able to sneak one in on the last boss, but I'd much rather just have one Bloodlust on Hakar and then that's it. Then a Bloodlust on the last boss. Technically, it would be faster to do it this way, but I'm not too worried about speed. In a 16, I'm mostly just worrying about trying to stay alive. And pop our Ascendants here too, because we got a lot of running to go. Even though we're mostly fine here. No reason to not pop Ascendants, right? Because by the next pull, my Ascendants will be almost up anyway, because we have like 2 full minutes of walking to do to get all the way to the next wing. So we're doing okay on time. You know, not blazing fast. We've had our mistakes, but we're sitting at 1440, which is good. You know, when you're at 224 item level and you're doing 16 keys, you can't be too upset with any pace as long as you're on time. Although we've managed to +2 some keys at this level. Okay, so this part can be a little bit sketchy on Inspiring. So we gotta stop these devoted guys, but we can't when this High Priest is here. So the tank has to bring the High Priest back here. Or he doesn't. So now you guys get to see what happens when they transform. They transform into these birds. And the birds fixate on you and they pulse AoE damage. Can be really, really rough if they turn into birds like this. I'll yeet over here. And now that I saw how that go, I'm kind of conserving my mana a little bit. I guess I really don't need to though, because we have our mana orbs. It's part of the reason we got them. Alright, only 3 more trash pulls and then we're on to the bosses. I can't stop these blade storms because of the inspiring, so we just gotta keep kiting them. And we can purge those. I think our hunter can purge them as well. Alright, so now we can use our cap totem and stop these guys, since they're not inspired. And usually the move is, since this last pack is the most dangerous, people will drag this last pack behind this wall here. And then it's just in range so we can stun them with this, this urn right here. We'll see if that's what the tank had in mind. I'm actually going to focus this inspiring guy in case he gets caught out casting. So everybody's hiding. Looks like we're looking good here. Yeah, I interrupted him there. Alright, now we'll click. Spell our hunter to make sure he's not a frog. And we blast. Once these mobs are doing nothing and not heal, oh no, the healing wave's gonna go off. Quite unfortunate, but not a whole lot you can do with that inspired guy. Yeah, by far the most important cast that we want to interrupt is that healing wave on the Hexer, but we can't get it. Alright. So we got 10 minutes and 20 seconds to kill 2 bosses. Should be plenty of time. Alright. I think we'll have a lot of damage for this guy. I think everyone is kind of saving their damage. Alright, I got 2 debuffs in a row, so I'm going to use a defensive here. Use our Fate Transfusion for a little bit of a haste buff. For time, you always want to be focusing on the boss. But for safety, you do want to kill these little bird ads. Holy smokes. Alright. Alright, hopefully we can burst down 500k. I'm just gonna pop Ascendance right now, just in case. Then we'll kind of save Healing Tide and Spirit Link, in case things go wrong. Okay, so we got lots of birds. Lots of birds. And we won't be able to kill the boss. I'm gonna health potion. I think we have that healing tide rolling. Holy smokes. That was a lot of damage. We still had Spirit Link too, but everyone was so spread out that it was a bit scary. Yeah, we're definitely reaching some of our limits to what we can heal. What we can heal with this item level. Being only 220 something. Living through a 2-minute Hakar fight is a little bit scary. Sure, we could have managed things a little bit better, and you know, we still don't even have enchants or consumables or a legendary, so you know, we could definitely make our 224 mileage go a bit further, but this is what we got so far. Alright, so as long as we don't have a catastrophic failure on the last boss, should be easy in time. Okay, so this boss can actually hurt the tank pretty bad. Especially if the tank isn't familiar with some of the damage patterns, so... While I do want to worry about healing our friends, I'm mostly going to focus on trying to keep the tank top tier. Probably the most likely thing I've seen go wrong in this dungeon, or rather on this boss. Like basically the tank isn't pressing anything, and then out of this the boss does a boss hit. Sometimes the tank won't have any mitigation ready. We'll use our spirit walkers here just so we can cast on the move a little bit, since we gotta do some dodging. Oh boy, we quaked our tank on accident. Here I am saying the tank's at risk and I'm the one killing him. Oh no. Something healed me, I don't know what it was. Our Boomy pressed his IQD for his ramp and it healed me. That's quite unfortunate for him. I apologize, friend, but I think he'll be okay. I don't think he'll need it for this. Little unsure on how our damage is going to be, so I'm using my Fey Transfusion here. Trying to stand in my rune as well. That is quite unlucky that we weren't able to kill it. And our Boomkin got stunned. Oh no, we've only killed 2 of the totems. Well, that's alright. We'll just have to live through another phase. Thought I did a lot of damage to that ad. Maybe my low item level is showing. I'm still not doing very much. I mean, I did close as much to what the tank did. I keep trying to use healing range just to help with some AoE healing, but we have no melee, so it doesn't really get very good mileage. Drop a healing tide just to help with some healing on the move. Okay, so it's front right and back right. Looks like we'll go here and help the druid. I'm a little worried. I don't know how much damage the druid's gonna have. Hopefully we can help him out enough. But druids without cooldowns do not do too much damage. Uh-oh. We still didn't kill our guy. Oh no, dude. Oh no. We sent 2 DPS and a tank to the other one. I guess I could have rubied. Crit just does so little for my single target DPS though. I keep forgetting I have this ruby trinket. Alright, the only thing that could happen is the tank dying. The tank is getting hit by every Master of Death. I'm just gonna put a Spirit Link down. Just because I just did not want him to take an unmitigated hit there. Oh no, I think that was cheat death from our tank. Oh no, don't let it end like this. Please, no, we're so close. Things are falling apart. Lucky we had so much time. Alright, now with our almost entire team here, I think we'll be okay. I think we've done it. I think we've finally done it. Please die, boss. Yeah, he's dead. There it is. We did it. Another time 16. It's a lot closer than I wanted it to be, but this is what it is. Oh, we got a trinket. Oh, we got a trinket. We got a heavy rainfall conduit. That is big for us. Now we have a better stat stick. Honestly, we'd probably do this here. Now we'll use our IQD. I'll at least have some use for that. Alright, let's see what key we got. Is there a chance we continue on? What is Undercity? Man, what is this mage? Why did he port us to Undercity? Man, what key do we get? Is this the end of the road for us, or do we continue on? It is. Spires. I think we already have a Spires. We can take a look at our damage and healing breakdowns here for that key. Pretty typical. Fate Transfusion doing a lot. Lava Burst doing a lot. Our HPS breakdown. Pretty typical again. That one was a tough one. That one was definitely a tough dungeon. Seemed like there was a lot of tank damage for being a tyrannical week. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll be releasing regular episodes, so make sure you subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and click the bell to get notified when the next episode is out. I also come out with regular guides for healers in World of Warcraft, as well as videos explaining UI and all other sorts of things. If you enjoy content like this, I'd also highly recommend coming to check out my stream at twitch.tv/yumytv, where we're always gaming there. The link is in the description, and happy keying.